Why play Zeri Bot Lane? Well, she scales into a team fighting beast. She's insane at kiting, she has great range, and she's actually really fun to play. However, her early game's weaker than a lot of carries, and to get the most out of her, you do want to pair her with a support that can protect her well. Zeri's passive is when she damages an enemy with a shield, she gains movement speed and steals a large chunk of the shield. Zeri's Q has a passive where her basic attack is treated like a castable ability, and then her Q is treated like her basic attack. She will build up her charge bar by moving. Her uncharged basic attacks deal a small amount of damage and consume a small amount of the built-up charge. However, her fully charged basic attacks deal a large chunk of damage with additional execute damage and will consume all the charge. The active works as her basic attack where she fires a burst of bullets in a direction. However, it's good to note this will stop on the first enemy hit, so cannot be shot through minions. Zeri's W is a straight line skill shot which deals damage and slows the first enemy hit. If this ability hits terrain first, it increases the area and critically strikes champions and monsters hit. Zeri's E dashes her a small distance and for the next 5 seconds makes her attacks pierce and deal additional magic damage. If this is used into terrain, she will dash over the entire terrain. Hitting an enemy champion with an attack or an ability reduces the cooldown by half a second, and critical strikes reduce the cooldown even further. Zeri's ultimate deals magic damage in a large circle around her. If this hits at least one enemy champion, she becomes overcharged for 5 seconds. Damaging an enemy will extend this duration by 1.5 seconds, stacking back up to the 5 seconds duration. While overcharged, Zeri gains bonus attack speed and movement speed. Burst Fire becomes empowered to have a 20% shorter cast time and fires 3 rounds faster. These attacks will now also chain lightning onto visible enemies. While overcharged, her attacks and abilities generate a stack which will last for 1.5 seconds and refresh each time she gets a new one. For each of these stacks, she gains 0.5% of movement speed. For combos, a great way to start is to E over terrain and use W while traveling. When you land, use ultimate immediately as long as you can hit one enemy champion. From here, spam out your Qs and then use your auto attacks to execute as needed. For matchups, Zeri does very well into other carries who want to scale, being able to outrange and outbully them. However, she can struggle against true bullies. For runes, take this, lethal tempo is just far too good. For build order, start Blade and Pot into tier 2 boots and a shield bow. After this, a Phantom Dancer, IE and Lord Doms will give you power spike after power spike before finishing a build with any of these. For skill order, start Q then E then W before maxing Q then E then W, taking ult whenever you can. For summoner spells, Flash and Ghost is the go-to. However, against more aggressive laners, take heal instead to keep yourself alive. Starting the game, the early game is where Zeri is weakest. However, how you play it will depend on your matchup. If you're against a lane bully, your main focus will be on controlling the wave to set up slow pushes and freezes to farm as safely as possible. However, if your opponent simply wants to scale as well, you can play far more aggressive, usually being able to outrange them, as Zeri's range gives her access to very good trades. With the range of her Q being incredible, every time your opponent steps out from behind minions, start tagging them with it. In addition, if they haven't got any hard CC available, feel free to dash at them and start spamming them with Qs. And of course, when you have ultimate, you can use it along with Ghost to absolutely chase them down. Entering the mid game, take your tower as soon as possible and then roam mid to siege their tower. Not only does this give you good map pressure, but it gives you 2 characters who can roam to any fights or objectives. Entering late game team fights, you're looking to play the backline hyper carry. Use your ultimate on a champion as soon as possible so you can start stacking overcharged stacks to become insanely mobile. From here, spam out Qs and Ws for insane damage while keeping yourself safe with your high movement speed.